Welcome back to Sway TV. I'm your host JJ here on Amazon Live, and I'm so excited!
We're gonna have some fun on the street.
And we're doing Workout Wednesdays here on Amazon Live.
And she is fresh off the set of Shark Tank.
It's such an honor to be here today, so thank you.
We are going to be talking all about parenting.
You have no idea how honored I am to have Mr. Tim Story making his world premiere right here on Sway TV Live.
Functional medicine is all this stuff. It's integrating things that improve your life.
This is our tribe of women.
I completely agree with you, Kimmy. It starts with being happy with how you look.
What is the key to a successful business?
We made history here on Amazon Live. Would you ask her out again, Michael?
I am so excited for today's Battle Shop Live.
And it's Brad Grunberg. Hi, Brad.
Here we go.
Get curious! Get curious!
Daisha says, I can watch Sway TV for hours because they are the best. Rosalinda just said, this is better than Netflix.
Oh, Naveen says this is better than Netflix. Yes! There's a Tesla. You can actually buy a car on Amazon. That is so crazy. The perfect gift. Yes, we got our Drake's Cake break.
David is live streaming. We got it right up in the corner. I love this.
I am getting a complete body makeover right now.
Oh, that feels so good.
Oh my God, that is the coolest thing ever.
So awesome.
Shake, shake, shake.
Shake your zoo life.
This is fun. Drum roll, please. Dun, dun, dun. So many giveaways here at Sway TV.
And one person's gonna win a PS5. Which one will it be?
Here we go. I'm so excited. I can't even stand it.
And Sam's in the chat says, Sway TV rocks. Woo!
We're still going. Yeah, we don't sleep at Sway.
One of the best comments I've ever received, ever, hands down. EK's gonna love me even more. Look.
I cannot make this up.
We are awarding you with the PS5 as well.
4, 3,
2, 1.
All the time streaming live. We're sharing great products. We're doing great interviews and amazing giveaways.
Amazon, we love you, Amazon. So grateful for you guys and for Sway TV.
Thank you, Sway TV.
Amazon Live, woo!
I've had such a great time with all of you.
Shop attainment all the time.
It is a girl's dream come true for someone like me to be able to give you dating advice and shopping all in one platform.
We in the house, we having fun, we doing the thing, we swaying. Do, do, do. How did this show turn into like a full-on sing-along? This is fun! We love Sway TV! Let's sway! Let's sway!
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway!
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway!
Let's sway.
Let's sway!
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's go! Let's sway! Stay tuned! Woo!
Hello and welcome to today's Ab Lab Learn and Burn training session. We're going to burn some extra calories and we're going to fire up those core muscles with the Ab Lab. I'm Kathy Stevens, a health and fitness professor with more than 40 years of fitness experience in the industry, and I am one of the lead developers for the Ab Lab. The Ab Lab, what is it? It's a new and exciting online platform for healthy core living. It's for newbies and fitness pros that want to network, learn, work out. You may even want to become a certified Ab Lab trainer. So to find out more, and I'll repeat this, make sure you go to theablab.com. Now, I'm on Sway TV, and we're with Amazon Live, and we have so much to do today that I want to get started early. First, let's go over the Sway basics. please make sure that you say hi to me in the chat box. I will be checking in and responding when I can. Of course, shop the carousel and follow us by hitting the star or by hitting the follow button, and tell your friends, because we want to see you back and we want to see more people joining us. So what's today's session? It's called Computer Fit. It's what I like to call my sit, fit, and fix training session. What do I mean by that? Try saying it real fast. That's a hard one. But what I mean by that is I'm going to give you a training session today live that you can do with me in your desk chair or wherever you're sitting. And it's really designed to combat something I call sitter's disease. Did you hear that? Sitter's disease. Do you know what that is? Well, do you sit too long? I think all of us have been sitting a little too long, especially over the last year with the lockdowns. And how about our kids, our teachers? Everybody's sitting longer than they should. And sitter's disease is basically the scientific term for something that's called sedentary habits. And you can be super fit, but that doesn't mean you don't sit too long at a time, at one time. Do you sit for more than 30 minutes at a time? Well, then I've got some exercises for you. How do you know if you are suffering from sitter's disease? I've got 5 tips to share with you to check in with yourself, to see if maybe you're falling prone to this disease. First off, posture. Do you find that your posture is rounding or slouching or hunching over a bit more than it used to? Well, that's part of sitter disease. Think about it, especially at the keyboard. Where are our arms in front of us? Where is our head checking out what's on the screen in front of us? And look what happens following something like that. So that's one sign, is that you find your posture is becoming more forward or rounded in that upper body portion of the spine. Second, do you find yourself more prone to back pain or injury? Well, you know, the old saying of use it or lose it, it still applies, because if we don't engage and fire, remember I told you at the beginning with we were going to learn and burn. If you don't fire those core muscles, they get a little lax, they get a little sloppy, just like posture. And pretty soon, before you know it, you go to pick something up and you strain your back, or you just feel chronic tension in the muscles. Sometimes that's weakness. Sometimes it's just from being stagnant and stationary for too long. So that's number 2. Number 3, weight gain. Have you been putting on a few extra pounds during the COVID lockdown? I don't know. You're probably not alone out there. But when we sit too long, it just means that we're taking more and more away from activity minutes. Did you know that you burn about, depending on your size, 50 calories per hour more just standing versus sitting? So just the act of standing, not even doing exercise yet. So the more we sit, the less we do, the more we're likely to put on weight or slow our metabolism down a bit. That's number 3. Number 4, chronic fatigue. Why? When you sit, I'm going to back up a little bit here. Your blood flow kind of gets stuck. It doesn't go up and down as much as when you're moving or pumping those muscles. And that slow or that sluggishness builds up when circulation slows down. Also, what can happen is you feel drained and unfocused. Think about your kids, if you have any that are in school right now online. We're asking them to be very engaged and to really try to study when we have them sitting too long and that slow sluggishness takes place. We also find that your blood sugar can rise if you're sitting too long. And that, in some cases, can lead to chronic fatigue. So again, number 4 is fatigue, sluggishness, and ultimately chronic fatigue with sitter's disease. And then number 5 is repetitive stress injuries. So what can happen is when you sit and maybe you're at the keyboard and you're constantly doing this, you can get some type of a wrist syndrome, or if your elbow's not in the right position and you're holding it, tension in the neck or the shoulder or the elbow can lead to various issues at the joints and in the muscles that we call overuse. So it is very important that we look at how we're seated at the desk or the workstation or wherever you're sitting, maybe even in front of the TV, and how can we maybe mitigate some of these chronic stress postures. That's called ergonomics. We're going to talk briefly about this word, ergonomics and what it means. It's basically the way that your body reacts to the environment around you when you're working or doing online gaming. And it has to do with everything from light, posture, to chair, to screen. There's so many different factors that I want to give you wellness tips on. So let me ask you, what do you think the proper height? Maybe you don't know this. I'm going to share my screen real quick, but before, I want you to think about this. How high do you think your screen should be in relationship to your eyes? Anybody out there think you know? Let me know. I don't see anybody chatting. I can see the chat box. See if you know what the answer to that is. How high should the screen be for proper ergonomics when at the desk point? Well, without an answer, I'm just going to go right ahead and share my screen and show you some important ergonomic tips today. Up comes my really nicely seated lady. And if you can't see it, I'm going to talk you through it. So if you didn't answer that last question, the first one was, how high should the monitor be? You want the top of your monitor, as you look at our little demonstrator here, illustration, you want the top of the monitor at just about eye level or slightly below. You don't want it so high that you're lifting your chin and then creating tension in the back of the neck. And you don't want it so low that you're tilting or chin jutting while sitting there. You also want to be about an arm's length from the screen, which is usually around 20 to 26 inches. And you want the screen to be tilted just slightly back away from you, like boom, push it back just a bit, as you can see in the demonstration. And then going down the body, the next thing is to think about that upper back. Remember, I told you one of the symptoms of sitter's disease is hunching or slouching. So what you want to do is think about pulling the shoulder blades back and keeping them right back against your chair. Hopefully you want to feel that thoracic area of your spine against the back of your chair, and then your lumbar spine being very supported. If you don't have a chair that has a nice little lumbar arch, you can add a pillow right in the right spot for that. Moving down to the elbows, really big one, because a lot of people do have stress in their tendons of their elbow or in their wrists. And some of that can be caused by the position of your arms when working at a desk. So as you can see that our little demonstrating gal, I shouldn't name her, I don't know, let's call her Mary for today. And Mary's going to keep her arms right at her side, 90 degree or slightly a little bigger, like 120 right here at the elbow. And very important is to be able to rest your hand and wrist on your workstation desk so that you have minimal lifting of the wrist at that where it connects to the hand. You don't want to have your hand positioned in an upward bend to do your typing. So we're moving on down the body to the backrest, which I mentioned, putting a little pillow, some type of support back there if you don't happen to have a chair that's ergonomically designed. And then you'll want to also make sure your hips are at about a 90 degree, maybe a little bit bigger, like 120. So there's a little downhill slope with your thighs. And you need to walk your feet out so that you have some space behind the back of the knee and the chair. But of course, you'll want to be able to have that support. I'm going to walk out a little further. I'm further than you should be for proper ergonomics, but I want to show you how that leg should be with the feet flat to the floor. Even if you have if your legs are a little shorter, you can put a book or something up under so that you get that proper 90 to 120 degrees at the hip. And that pretty much tells you what your posture check should be. So I want you to think about it right now. Anybody out there with me right now? I want you to think about, how is that distance to your monitor? How is your arm positioning, your back positioning, your hip and your feet? Give yourself a little posture check. And that's the first step in trying to avoid sitter's disease, is at least, if you're going to sit with great posture. All right, so moving on, let's now talk a little bit more about what we're going to do for the training session today, okay? I'm going to stop sharing my screen, bring you on back to me, and then we're going to really take a look at today's workout. I like to call it computer fit or sit, fit, and fix. And the reason I like to say sit, fit, and fix is because we're going to get fit and we're also going to fix some of these problems that I just mentioned in terms of posture and sitter's disease. So I hope you can follow along with me. We're going to probably be moving and doing exercises for 30 to 40 minutes. And as with any new workout, I like to remind you, it's always important that you consult with your physician before starting any new exercise program, especially if you've been laying off and not doing any workout for a while. But this isn't going to be a high energy workout. It's really going to be something that I hope you'll see you can do anytime, any day, anywhere almost. And in particular, I hope you'll try it when you're stuck at your desk. Again, we're here on Sway TV. This is the Ab Lab Learn and Burn training techniques for when you're stuck sitting in a chair behind your computer. Join me. All right. I'm going to be also sharing with you a lot of great products that are ergonomic in nature, as well as fitness tools that you can use right from your chair. I'm going to use 2 today in the workout. Let me show you what they are. I'm going to use a simple stretching strap. I bought this on Amazon. It's in my store, and it's got these cool loops, so I can put that on my foot, and it's just a really nice, strong material. So this is one of the pieces I'll use in today's workout. And then my other, which I've mentioned almost every time I've been on, which is the gorgeous ball. It's a light, flexible ball that we can squeeze and hug. And it sells on Amazon, both pieces very reasonable, and in my store or the Ab Lab store. So we're going to be using these. I'm going to keep them nearby. Now, what happens if you don't have one of these devices? I always believe it's important to give options because I don't want you to give me an excuse why you're not doing this. Now, somebody wanted to know if they won yesterday, and don't worry, somebody will answer you that in the back end of that chat box. There were a lot of things given away. As a matter of fact, last week I gave away 360 up boards, training boards. Check them out on Amazon. They're an awesome device. I'm sorry if you missed it. So back to what you can use instead of the stretching strap. You can use just a basic towel, something about this size, not too big, something you can wrap up or twist up. So you can use this instead of this, or I don't know, maybe you have a scarf, something that you can stretch yourself with and hang on to and use for stretching and exercises. So again, my first choice, second or third, go grab one if you don't have it yet. Okay. What about the ball? Well, if you don't have a ball, you can use a pillow. Let me get up real quick. Oh, I'm still here. Don't worry. You can grab a pillow from your couch or your chair, your bed, wherever, and we can use that instead. So I'm going to have those nearby, but as I said, for today, I'll be using my Amazon products. So let's go ahead and get started. Keep in mind that when you're seated at the computer, the areas of greatest concern are going to be your legs, your back, your neck, your eyes. So we're going to address all of those. So your legs, your back, your neck, your eyes. We're going to really do some excellent movements that can help you sit longer and feel stronger. All right. So the very first thing I want to do is start from the bottom up. To do this first series of exercises, hey, thanks for saying hi. We're going to get going, and Sammy is following. Thank you for following. I'm going to take my ball, and I'm also going to take my band with me, and I'm going to back up a little bit so that you can see me better. Okay. I want to make sure you can see my full body. Now, imagine I'm at a desk. Oh, I'm going to put stuff on my resistance chair, which I'll talk about later. This is a great piece of equipment if you're looking for an exercise chair that you can do different things with and also use at your desk. We'll talk later about that. So the first exercise is going to be for the feet and ankles. And what I'm going to have you do is keep in mind something I said earlier about sitter's disease: poor circulation, sluggishness. Where is it going to be worse? Down in the peripheral or the extremities, the feet and the hands. So just doing toe taps, and I want you to feel those toes tapping, and maybe we're going to do this for 30 seconds. You might get tired. The reason I said maybe is that the muscles that are doing this activity, remember to keep that plumb line of the head over shoulders, shoulders over hips, jaw forward. So same standing posture hips for seated posture. Oh boy, are you feeling that yet in the front of the shins? This is for strengthening those shin muscles and increasing that circulation all the way down to the feet. We've got 5 seconds. Stop if you need to. 4. They might start burning a little bit. 3, 2, and 1. And then we're going to shift to a rock and roll where you point down and pull back. So this is going to start to really stretch and limber that ankle. And this carries over to a lot of things besides just good circulation. It also leads to mobility, which is so important for everything we do, from walking to running on our feet. So just pull them back, get those heels, pop them as high as they'll go off the floor, and then pull those toes. And if you're not sitting back against your chair, this whole series is working your core as well. Keeping that core alignment, shoulder blades down and back, join the ab lob. Here we are, learn and burn. How do you stay more fit at your computer? Sit and be fit. All right, so we do about 30 seconds of this one as well. Whew, I can feel this. I'm actually starting to breathe a little heavy, and I'm just working those lower leg muscles. All right, last one. And now we're going to take our towel or stretch strap. Remember, I told you can use a stretching towel or a scarf if you don't have this really handy stretching strap. Oh, that core ball is just going to run away, isn't it? It's all right, I'll get it later. So we're going to take one of the loops and put it right around one of your feet. All right. And then you're going to take that leg and you're going to put it kind of around the ball portion of your foot, pull back and push into it with some force. This is called isometric contraction. You're going to feel a contraction in that calf muscle. Point the toe, hold here, pull your elbows back. You're also going to feel a pulling sensation in the mid-back muscles. So you're going to get 2 bangs for the push of 1. All right. You're going to get calf contraction and mid-trap contraction, mid-back, push and hold 3 or 4 seconds. Now release and just assist that foot into a stretch position with the toe coming back to stretch the calf, and relax back against your chair for a second. So let your back have a break. Stretch that calf. You usually want to hold a nice long stretch for about 3 to 5 deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. Are you doing this with me? It's a great stretch for the calf. And then let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other foot. If you missed this, now you get to see it again. I am using my stretch strap by OPTP, and I'm going to start by pointing my toe and pulling my shoulder blades and elbows back. So I'm going to feel an isometric or held contraction in the calf muscle and the mid-back muscles. And I'm going to breathe and maybe count to about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, after the contraction phase, I'm going to rest back against my chair, and I'm going to use my towel or stretch strap to pull that toe back and stretch the calf muscle. Feels great. Again, use a scarf or a towel if this isn't working well for you. We have just now done a great series for the ankle and the calf muscles and the shin muscles. All right. You want to hold that for 3 to 5 deep breaths and then let it down. Okay, now I'm going to take the strap off. I'm going to move up for a second and get a little bit of water. If you're working out with me, please get some water, and I'm going to check my chat box. So please chat it up with me. All right. Somebody's getting an exercise board. Awesome. I hope you get it soon. I know they're shipping it. And you just received your yoga ball 2 days ago. Awesome. Yes. In terms of the Achilles tendon, that last stretch that I just showed you, and I'm going to show you a variation, okay? Thank you so much for asking, Sam, because the Achilles tendon is not what you're trying to stretch. It's the attachment. You're trying to stretch the large muscle called the gastrocnemius and the smaller one down a little lower called the soleus. Those muscles attached to the Achilles tendon, they're what's getting tight. Now, if you stretch and pull the toe back with a bent knee, you get a little bit more of the soleus. With a straight leg, you get a little bit more of the gastrocnemius. The key is to stretch is to bring the foot back towards your shin. That's the stretch position. When we do it standing, and I guess I'll just get carried away here for a second. I hope you don't mind. That's why we put the foot behind us, because if you look at the angle, maybe you can't see it. If you look at the angle, when I stretch in this position, it's about the toe coming in or closing that angle, making the angle smaller between the foot and the shin. So again, bent knee for a little bit lower portion of the muscle, straight leg for the gastrocnemius or bigger part of the muscle. Thank you for asking, and keep asking away. I may not be able to answer you, right away, immediately, but I will get to your questions when I take my water breaks. Moving on up the chain, where are we going now? We are going to the thighs, and I am going to use my tune-up and my band, but let's start with the ball. So my courageous ball is soft and cushy, and I can place it between my knees, as you see, sit up nice and tall, and just do a series of kind of pulsing squeezes where I just press. Maybe you can see that from the front, contracting these inner thigh muscles. Again, keeping the posture up. I can vary this a little bit by going faster or holding it and counting down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I can change my foot position to add a little more shin work or tibialis anterior, that's the name of that muscle work, as I contract these inner thigh, getting that blood flow going, getting those muscles toning, okay? Now another one I can do with the ball to the legs, because we're moving up the chain. Remember, we talked about with Sitter's disease, some of the problem is circulation and blood flow, and so these leg and ankle exercises keep that blood flow and those muscles engaged. You can put that soft ball on the floor. Let's see, let me back up and make sure you can see this. And then with one foot on it, scoot a little further in your chair, put your hand on your thigh, and then press down into it. You're going to feel this gluteus muscle contract. Press and release. Press and release. And what I'm not doing is letting my body collapse. So I have to keep my core engaged as I press my heel down into the ball and then release. Press my heel to the ball and release. Let's switch sides. The foot on the floor kind of goes alongside of the ball, and it could be a pillow so that the ball doesn't go scooting out. And then you push down and hold. You'll feel the hamstring and the gluteal contraction. Again, just push down and hold. I always also like to remind you to exhale as you create tension in the muscles. So like when you're bench pressing, blow out during the contraction phase, and then release. And we'll do a couple more, pushing down onto that gorgeous ball. It won't pop, I promise. And last one, push down nice and hard, engage that hip, engage those glutes. Whoever knew you could work on your glutes while you sat on them. And then relax it. And then let's go ahead and move on to some leg strengtheners using a towel or your strap. Let's see if this ball is going to play along this time and stay put. It has a mind of its own. So this time I'm going to put the strap around one foot. Now, again, it could be a towel or a scarf. And I'm going to let that leg extend out. Notice I'm sitting towards the front of my chair, right? So I'm going to hold on like a tug of war. Imagine that you're playing tug of war. I'm going to hinge forward like a deadlift. Okay, deadlift is where your back and your spine stay in line and your legs stay straight. And then as I try to come up, I'm going to engage and pull that rope. And I'm going to try, but I'm stuck. This isometric contraction, I can really feel back in the hamstring. Hold for 4, hold for 3, hold for 2, hold for 1, and relax. Whew. Now that the muscle has fired and contracted, we're going to go ahead and pull ourselves down and just stretch. So you can either bring the leg up if you want to in this direction, or keep it on the floor and just imagine you're trying to get closer and closer and closer and feel that nice lengthening stretch down the back of that leg. All right, sliding back up. Let's do the same thing on the other side, our deadlift pull. So we're going to put that leg out straight. The other one is grounded. We're going to grab like you're playing tug of war, tuck your elbows in, bring the hands down, and then pull back Try to get back, but then keep that tension. That cord doesn't move, and you just feel that nice gripping tension. You're going to feel this in your upper body, your back, your hamstring, and your hip, because you're trying to unhinge at the hip, but it's not going far, is it? 3, 2, 1, relax. And then go ahead and come on down to the stretch position. So you can either just pull it down and relax forward, or bring it up in the air if that feels good. That might take a little bit more room in your space. So do what feels better to stretch that hamstring for yourself. All right, now we know the hamstrings get really tight when we sit too long. Why? Look at this position of this leg. You see this bent knee? That means the hamstring is in a shortened position, and I don't mean a contracted, shortened position. I just mean that it's kind of just learning. It's like, think of your legs being put in a mold. It's learning to just kind of stay at this length because it stays there all day, muscle memory. And then you go to get up and it's like, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. So your hamstrings get addedly tight when you sit too long. That's why that stretch, whether in the air or forward and down, is so important to encourage the body to stay balanced in terms of mobility and flexibility. Another group that we have to address that's part of the sitter's disease is the hip flexor getting tight. Once again, think about neutral alignment. Do we stand and have this angle at our hip or our knee? No. When we stand, this is open. This is not flexed at the hip. So when we're sitting too long, we're really shortening. And again, muscle memory, we're teaching this muscle to stay really short. And then it can sometimes become less pliable for movement. So how can we do a great stretch for this muscle from the seated posture? Okay, this one you have to scoot a little bit to the side and then drop. And if you want, you can even use your stretch strap or your towel if you want to help guide that foot back there with it. And then you're just going to kind of rock and roll from your torso. You're going to rock forward and straighten that leg behind you, making sure that you're not arching too much in the lower back. So look for a long line from head to hip. Stay stable, and then come back up and try it, because each stretch is going to hit a little different for the muscles of the thigh. When the knee is bent and dropped straight down, that's going to hit more of the belly of the quadricep. When the leg is straight and back behind you like a runner's lunge, it's going to hit the hip flexor. So both are good for stretching out that overly tight muscle that again is getting tight from too much sitting. All right. So from here, this would be held for about 3 to 5 deep breaths. Remember that I am moving. I'm swiveling a little on my chair because I need to kind of quickly get in and out so we can chat on Sway TV. But if you're at home, make sure that if you're in a chair, it's not going to move out or scoot out from underneath you. Lock it down or use one that doesn't have that capacity. So we're just going to switch sides. Again, I'm going to pivot a little bit. Then I'm going to maybe use my stretch strap to get that leg back in place. I'm going to align my spine so my head to my hip is in a nice long angle without too much arching at the lower back. I'm going to rock forward, extending that leg, feeling more of the stretch in the hip flexor. Hold for 3 to 5 deep breaths. I'm going to maybe come up and see how it feels with the knee, forming a right angle at the knee, stretching, pushing my pelvis a little under, tucking it under is going to allow you to feel more of this stretch in that hip flexor. Again, maybe going into the straight lunge position. And again, you can be doing this while you're shopping. Shop the show, shop the carousel, stretch it out, do the next exercise. That way you won't feel so guilty when you've bought all those great things on Amazon, right? All right, so here we are, coming back out of this nice hip stretch and then coming to the front position. Now I still have my shoe wrapped by my stretching strap. I'm going to bring the leg up and I'm going to show you one more exercise that we can do from this position using your towel or strap. You can bend your knee, hold it in place, and then push as hard as you can, but hold on as hard as you can too, and just feel for a contraction in the front of that thigh. So again, isometric training. You know, I don't know if you remember Charles Atlas. He was big on isometric training. He was supposedly had the most perfect physique in the world back in about the 1920s or so. Tighten that front thigh. And he had a book called Dynamic Tension. And it was all about using isometric contractions to strengthen and tone and shape the body. And then we're going to relax. And one more time, we're just going to push till we feel tension in that thigh. Posture tall. Inhale and exhale, about 5 seconds, and relax. So I did 3 sets on one foot. Let's do the other. And then we'll be moving on to the back. And I'll come answer some questions. So once again, hold your strap, wiggle your fingers. This is great for grip strength as well, by the way. Push and hold that tension. Try to tighten that thigh. Keep that body upright. Breathe, inhale and exhale, 3 to 5 deep breaths. Thank you for joining me on Sway TV today. I am Kathy Stevens. I'm with the Ab Lab, and we are showing you some healthy core living tips when it comes to sitting in the chair too long. Here we go again. Bend up, squeeze out. You could be using a towel or a scarf. Tighten up that thigh. We'll do one more. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, what is the Ab Lab? The Ab Lab is a new social media platform for fitness enthusiasts, people that want those. You're going to be able to go and access not only new exercises and deep dives into how to train properly, but also to network and get discounts on all kinds of things, education, products, so many different things that will have to do with not just your abs, but the whole core of healthy living. So let's see where we are. We just finished our thigh exercise, and I want to check in. Hey, Carmen, thanks for being here. Oh, yes, great stretch. I know. I hope you felt that, and I hope you're doing it with me, Sam. Yes, you can use your yoga ball and your yoga mat. Those are both great things. Today, we're doing the workout from a chair because my focus is on sitter's disease. And so I want to show you things, simple things you can do from your chair, workstation, things you can have your kids do when they're sitting there, if they're not in school yet, live school, if they're sitting there doing Zoom. These are things you can share with them. And we're working up the body. We started at the feet, we've gotten to the legs, we're moving on to the back, my favorite, because one of the biggest problems that we know about sitting too long is stress and strain and weakness in those core muscles of the back. That's where we start slouching. And then we wonder, why do I have so much tension in my back? Well, the tension isn't because they need to be stretched. In many cases, they're overstretched. And it's just those muscles need to be woken up and they need to rebuild their endurance for proper posture. So with all that said, and I know that was a mouthful, I'm going to get some water. Hopefully you've got some water and you'll get some too. And let's see. Yes. So we're going to work out next for the back, and I am going to use my little yoga ball or my Gorgeous ball. And we're going to start to work the back using the ball. And this is one of my favorite series. It's so good to do. So if you've got your chair, you're going to put the ball right at the lumbar spine. Okay. Now the lumbar spine in proper standing and seating alignment should have a little neutral curve, the same way the cervical spine should. Okay. Let me get my hair out of the way so you can see this better. I might have to take my sweat jacket off. I am getting a little hot. So, oh, let's see. Let's do this so you can see the exercise better. All right. Again, if you're just joining me here on Sway TV and Amazon Prime, I'm with the Ab Lab, and we are working on some core exercises to prevent sitter's disease. All right. So the ball goes right at your lumbar arch, which is, well, we all know that where the sway is. And you just want to scooch up to it where you feel it there, but it's not forcing you forward or being compressed back. Then I'm going to bring my arms up so you can see what's going to happen. I'm going to draw in my abdominal wall, engage, brace, whatever word you want, and purposefully try to pelvic tilt and flatten the ball against the chair. And then I'm going to hold for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and relax back to neutral. So I'm doing an ab crunch basically in a seated position, but I'm really targeting the crunch in the abdominal region, right? So I'm not going to round the upper back and shoulders. I'm going to keep the head over the shoulders. I'm going to keep everything above the ball as neutral as possible. Let's do this again. Inhale. Let's use our breath too. Exhale, contract, press that ball. Feel those abs engage, just like somebody took your belt notch and pulled your belt. Pull it tight, hold and breathe, hold and breathe. About 5 seconds, and then release. Okay, so once again, it's isometric. It's pulling, it's tightening, it's stimulating muscles. And these muscles are so important to the back because they're what control your core while seated or while moving. So we'll do one more. I like to do 3 reps of everything so that if you just got here, you missed the first 2, you can still catch the exercise. Repositioning. Again, chin up, shoulder blades down. Inhale, exhale, compress. Try to get rid of the arch in your lower back. Feel that tension in the front. Feel that pressure in the back. Keep the neck long, the chin parallel to the floor, the head back over the shoulders. Hold for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and release back to neutral. That is the low back press. Now, again, if you don't have the courageous ball, which you can find on Amazon, you can use a pillow. All right, now we're going to move the ball up to between the shoulder blades. This is such an important area for back health because as we talked about earlier, if you missed it, one of the signs of sitter's disease, you've been sitting too long, is that rounded posture that we start falling prey to from spending too much time looking at a computer screen or typing in front of you. So we need to reposition and restabilize the upper back posture. So the ball is right between my shoulder blades. I'm going to put my hands in front of me. I'm going to rotate out. I'm going to squeeze between the shoulder blades and push the ball against the chair. My head is going to stay pretty much in line with my body, okay? Hold it for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and then come back to neutral. Take a few breaths, shake it off. These are isometric. If you need to reposture, if you felt like your hips were sliding too far forward, reposture and get ready for the next rep. Once again, I'm going to bring my arms up, thumbs go out, squeeze between the shoulder blades and press and hold with a nice line, head on the diagonal to shoulders and hips. Hold it, squeeze it, breathe it for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and done. And already you should start to feel like something is just feeling better back there, more lined up, more invigorated, okay? Here we go, 3rd rep. I'm doing 3 reps of most things so that if you're coming in and you miss one, you can still join me. Thanks for pressing that star button. It means that you like what we're doing. We'll do more, okay? Don't forget to shop the show too. A lot of great products there in the carousel. All right, so here we go. Sit up nice and tall. Rotate out, thumbs back. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Press the ball. Engage and brace those abs. Keep that head in good alignment and breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. And I do encourage, whenever possible, that you count out loud. Why? We know that with isometric training, if you hold your breath while you're doing that held contraction, it can slightly elevate your blood pressure. But if you breathe fluidly while you're holding the exercise, it won't. It'll avoid that symptom from happening. So what I want you to do is breathe through it. And counting helps you remember to breathe. Like when you say 5, guess what? Air just came out. So in most cases, it hits both the counting and the breathing. They happen together. It solves the problem. Okay, so now moving on from the upper back and the posture, which was so key, right? We're going to do a few other core exercises from the seated posture. I'm going to go ahead and use my stretch strap. You could use your towel if you prefer. I'm going to get a sip of water. See if there's any other questions. Nope. Feel free to ask me. Again, I might not get to it immediately, but I will come back and check in with you. Staying hydrated, also a very important thing to do when you're sitting at the computer. Have you ever been at the computer and you just realized you were shopping around in Amazon, and before you know it, an hour, 2 hours has gone by, and you haven't gotten up, you haven't gone to the bathroom, you haven't drank anything? Well, those are all indicators that you're leading to sitter's disease. So today's Ab Lab workout is all about learn and burn, meaning burn some calories, fire those core muscles, and let's do some simple exercises to keep you from sitting too long and being stagnant and seeing those signs of sitter's disease. That's my purpose here today. All right, so now a little bit more. We worked up the body. We started at the ankles, went up to the thighs. We're at the spine. We did a great ball or pillow press. And now we're going to take our band or towel, whatever. You can hold the loops wherever you want them. Just kind of, sometimes people like to use an elastic tube, which you can. I'm going to show you one. I wasn't really thinking about designing today's workout with elastic resistance. I'll do that another day. But you could use an elastic tube like this, which they sell on Amazon, of course, in my shop, and add some more concentric moving exercises. Today, though, I wanted to keep it simple. And I know that with the stretch strap, it's very similar to the towel or scarf, so we can all have one around. All right, let's go ahead and put the arms up and pull them alongside your head. Now really stretch up and feel a stretch in the shoulder girdle. And now with this nice tall, imagine that, I don't know, you're a pane of glass and you have to move in unison, the shoulders, the torso, the head, and just hold it off to what I call the diagonal lean and hold. And you're going to hold this for 30 seconds. Now, if that becomes a little aggravating to any specific place on the spine, either come out of it a bit, maybe you've gone too far, or just stop and give it a break, or bring the arms in, which is going to make it a little easier. You can have a little more action happening if you're pulling slightly on that strap. All right, breathing for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and back up to the center. Bring the arms down, and now we'll do the goalpost. Might need a little more length, and just imagine that your arms are a goalpost, you know, the football goalpost. Slide up and down, climb the wall. You don't even have to have the stretch strap or towel to do this, but this is great for mobilizing that shoulder girdle. Sometimes we start getting little problems in our shoulder, like kind of a impingement or stickiness. And again, staying the computer that's not ergonomically positioned right for your arms and your use of the keyboard or the use of the mouse can also cause or exacerbate that. So you want to do moves that get that glide going through the shoulder. This is called the Goalpost Climb. And you can try doing it in front of you or behind you, but that's a little harder. I have some limitation on one shoulder, so I can't quite do that anymore. Here we go, up we go, down we go. And then let's go ahead and do the lean to the other side. So we're going to lean like the Tower of Pisa, one long piece. Arms overhead is more advanced, arms down low a little easier. The whole body leans for about 30 seconds, bracing the core, bracing the core. You can pull out a little bit on that strap to engage a little more shoulder girdle work. Try to keep a long line. I have one hip that's kind of elevated, like I could slide maybe, I don't know, a small book under that hip. Holding for 4, breathing for 3, for 2, for 1. You're done. Bring it back. Relax it. Oh, did you feel that? Who says you can't work out when you're sitting? Of course you can. All right, so we're going to move back now. We're going to move up the chain of the core into the shoulder girdle a little bit more because, as I just mentioned, we do have issues with the shoulder girdle in general because that joint can do so much, that ball socket joint, that it can get itself into trouble. But we want to keep it greased. We want to keep it lubricated. Sitting at a desk, especially if you're reaching like this and not well supported, is only going to cause a lot of stress in this joint area. So not only the ergonomics, but also get moving, let me show you some great stretches for this area. All right, checking in. Hey, so I see that there's a couple people. Brianna, thanks for being here, and Dasha as well. I hope you're joining me with some of these stretches. If you missed it earlier, I'm with the Ab Lab. I'm Kathy Stevens. I'm here on Sway TV, Amazon Live, to show you how to prevent sitter's disease with some simple computer fit exercises. I'm using the stretch strap that I purchased on Amazon, but if you don't happen to have one yet and it's a cool device, use a towel. All right, now we're going on to the shoulders and chest, and there's an exercise called the back scratch. I'm going to get rid of my ball for a second, and I'm going to grip my band. I'm going to turn around so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. I'm going to have one hand about head height and one hand down at the waist. Okay, this is the back scratch position. And then I'm going to create an exercise first, okay? I'm going to keep my bottom arm steady. Don't let the bottom arm come up. And I'm going to try to pull with the top. So I'm going to isometrically contract my tricep on the top arm. I'm going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, keeping my head back and in line. And then after I've contracted that muscle, I'm going to use that same arm that was staying steady to pull and stretch this side, this shoulder and this tricep into the back pat position is what I would say. Pat yourself on the back. You made it here today. Woohoo. But you can use the towel or the tube to accelerate it. And you see, I don't even have to get out of my chair, even though getting out of my chair would feel good occasionally too, right? So maybe I say to myself, oh my Lord, I'm going to stand up, the same thing standing because I just feel like I need to stand. All right. Now, what's the second half to this? The second half is that I'm going to put the top arm up and I'm going to keep it up, but then I'm going to try to pull down with my bottom arm. So I create this kind of two-way pull, try to keep my wrists in good alignment. And I'm going to pull for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and then I'm going to relax the muscle and I'm going to pull all the way up. Let me sit down so you can see this arm. I'm going to pull and see how this bottom arm is coming up to scratch. That's called the back scratch, by the way. This bottom arm is creeping up my back and I'm stretching the opposite shoulder in this downward position. Try to keep your abdominals in, your head stacked over your shoulder and stretch. Couple deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. And then let it melt down. Ooh, that one's hard. We're going to do the other side. And this time, just because I want you guys to see how you don't have to have equipment, you can use a towel or a scarf. I'm going to use my scarf just so that you can see what it would look like if you didn't happen to have the cool stretching strap that I have. Okay, so now we're going to do the opposite. So I'm going to put the other arm up. I'm going to grab my scarf about my head height. And then I'm going to fold back and grab the bottom at about waist height. Remember the first one, I kept my bottom arm steady and I pushed into that towel or that scarf or that stretching strap, trying to extend the upper arm. And I squeezed for 5 seconds, tightening that tricep. And then after about 5 seconds, I used this hand to pull and manipulate a deeper stretch or lift up in the back pat position of the upper arm. And I hold the stretches for about 3 to 5 deep breaths. I pull my abdominals in. I keep my chin parallel to the floor. Good posture always is first in mind. Okay. And then we did the opposite. So we let the upper arm stay up and we tried to pull down isometrically, creating tension for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1, and then relax. And then use this upper arm to leverage and traction up, stretching the bottom arm and shoulder on that opposite side. Can you see that? The back pat. Ooh, you're going to get further than you ever could without the strap or stretch. Scarf. Nice deep breath. Hold for about 3 to 5 deep breaths. That's just about 20 to 30 seconds, which is a good amount to stretch. All right, and relax. Sometimes you have to move a little slowly in and out of those positions because a lot of exercise in the shoulder girdle, both the contraction phase and the release phase, stretch phase, which is a little bit of, you know what I mean. That's the term proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. That's a fancy letter action. That means contract a muscle before you stretch it, and it usually stretches better. Maybe you've done it in therapy. All right, so let's see where we're at now. We got all the way up and through the shoulder girdle and the arms, and now the neck. Oh, my favorite. I talk a lot about the neck. Whew. There's a lot of products I put in the Ab Lab shop for the neck, because there was a while ago that I personally had some major neck strain, and I was chronically feeling tension in my neck. And sometimes it would even work its way up to giving me a little bit of an eye headache. And I was really trying to think, what am I going to do? It was so aggravating. And the more I tried, the more I thought about it, the worse it seemed to get. And so I went online, literally to Amazon, and I ordered all these great products I'm going to show you later. And I really went and researched, what can I do and why is this happening? And what I found was, this is around the time when I decided to go back to college. I went back to college when my youngest child started kindergarten, and to get my master's in kinesiology. And boy, when I went back to college, I mean, we were talking, a good 40 years later. A lot of time was being spent on the computer, and I was just doing term papers and up all night. And I just was getting chronic stress in my neck, and probably mental stress too, that went along to make it even worse. And it really worked its way into an orthopedic issue. So I studied up on what I could do to strengthen the muscles of my neck. I have kind of a long neck, and I was way too far forward. I wasn't using good ergonomics that we talked about in the beginning of the show. I wasn't using a lot of those tips that I referenced in terms of hand positioning and back positioning, and even just feet flat on the floor. All these things count. But there were some exercises that I could do to strengthen the column of my neck and help keep, this is a good 10-pound noggin, and it's heavy in comparison to the little platform that it sits on. Those are very small, sensitive muscles. So let's do these now. So we're going to use a little isometric, because we always think we need to stretch, but a lot of times the problem isn't that the area needs to stretch. It's not so much tightness, it's weakness that's causing that chronic tension to creep into those areas. So we're going to just place our hand alongside your head. And literally, I want you to think about like an elevator door closing, and your hand and your head kind of coming together to where you create pressure, but your head doesn't tilt. And then I want you to hold it here for 5, for 4, count if you can, for 3, for 2, for 1. And then I want you to relax. Shake it off. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to place the hand. We're going to imagine that it's an elevator door. Both are pressing together, but staying nicely aligned. Holding, sitting tall for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. And then we're going to relax. Okay, 2 at 4, done. We're going to place it on our forehead. Ay, 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 my caramba. We're going to, again, push together like the closing elevator door without the head going out of alignment. And then hold that tension, maybe 50%, 40, 50% for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Okay. And then one more. We're going to place the hands behind, and we're going to do that pushing together without the head going out of alignment over the shoulders. Hold the tension so you feel muscle tension building, 10%, 20%, maybe all the way up to 50%, 100% being you can't hold it anymore. All right. So 5, 4, 3, no movement, 2, 1, and relax. Now those are strengthening all the various neck muscles in all the different positions. You could start doing diagonals, but the basic 4, side, side, front, back, that is a way to strengthen this column. And now we can stretch, okay? Because remember, without strengthening, stretching is not going to get rid of the pain in the neck that sometimes we feel, especially after hours of anything where our head tends to jet forward. All right, so here we go. We're going to take the head and we're going to place our hand just gently over it, cup it, and then just let your head tilt to one side till you feel light tension down the side of the neck here, just gentle. Try not, you can hold the bottom of your chair to keep this from happening, letting that shoulder blade rise up. Hold and breathe, not too much pressure because these are sensitive muscles and they will, if you put too much tension, they'll react and they'll contract against it. So hold and breathe for about 3 to 5 deep breaths and let it come up. Now, same side, but we're going to twist our head like you want to look down towards your armpit and then pull the top of the head down towards the armpit without rounding the back. So you got to keep the shoulders down and back. And again, breathing and holding for 3 to 5 deep breaths, chin towards it, a little pressure on the head, but not a whole lot because again, these are gentle stretches, gentle coaxing of that head into the position of stretch. Okay, bring it back up to the front, relax and release, and let's do the other side. All right, same thing. Simple cup to the side of the head. This side stays down. Pull till you feel the stretch. Hold that tension. Sometimes you want to take a second when you're stretching, I don't care what the muscle is, and go a little less than you think you should, and then advance it a little more once the muscle kind of relaxes and releases. 3 to 5 deep breaths, focusing on keeping the shoulder down, the posture up. And now let the head come back up, pulling downward and looking towards your armpit, a little bit of pressure to guide the head down. Inhale and exhale, 3 to 5 deep breaths. Doesn't that feel nice? And then gently coming back. You know, when you get into a stretch, especially when you're using sensitive muscles like the muscles of the cervical area, the cervical spine and all the attachments, you want to move in slow and out slow and allow the muscles to not get overstimulated, because sometimes when they do, like when you're bouncing into a stretch, it's called ballistic stretching, there is a receptor that says bounce, oh, that might be dangerous, and the muscle fibers contract rather than relax. Very simple way of putting it. So that's why we always want to creep in and out and hold your stretches gently. Overstretching isn't the goal of a stretch. Okay, so we got through the neck, and that brings us up to the eyes. Okay, anybody out there feel stressed, burny eyes, red eyes, blurry vision after staring at your screen too long? Well, I am going to share with you some great products that I've put in the AbLab shop that I've purchased personally on Amazon to help with screen glare. We'll talk about them later. Some are simple, some are a little more, a little bit bigger and bulkier, but I think they all are important because these are important, and there's muscles in the eyes that need to also be exercised so that you don't squint or stare too long in one place. So I hope you're all going to join me. Let's see if I have any more comments. Hey, good to see you guys. Yes. Get some water, please. All right. So here we go. Sit up nice and tall. Let's start with posture again. Feet flat on the floor, shoulders over hips, head centered. Here we start with our good posture and alignment, chest up, shoulder blades down and back. Now, all I want you to do, and it's going to look silly, but that's okay. I'll look silly if it helps you. I want you to take your eyes and I want you to look as far to one direction, left or right. You go whichever way you want. Look as far as you can. Look, look, look. Hold it. Don't move your head though. And then bring it back to the center quickly. Now we're going to go the other direction. Look, look, look without tilting your head, without dropping your chin. Look as far as you can. Feel the stretch in the eye socket. And then quickly bring it back to the center and focus. Okay, let's try that again. Go one side, hold it, quickly bring it back. Go to the other side, hold it, quickly bring it back. Go up, looking up to the heavens, bring it back. Look at your nose, bring it back. Let's do it up and down again. Keeping that head centered. Don't start jutting your chin forward. Keep it pulled back. Look up. Don't tilt the nose up. Don't tilt the chin up. Don't shrug the shoulders. Look back. Look down. Look at your thumb. I'm not going there. Bring it back. Now, we're going to go off to the diagonals. So we're going to go diagonal up, diagonal down, diagonal up, diagonal down. Here we go. Let's start. Diagonal up, diagonal down. Other diagonal, diagonal down. First diagonal, diagonal down. Second diagonal, diagonal down. And bring it back to center focus. Oh, doesn't that feel kind of good? Now, sitting tall, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to think about rolling the eyeballs beneath your eyelids. So roll it around in a circle. Lubricate, lubricate. This is really a good one for increasing the circulation and lubrication to the eyes. One of the biggest problems is dry eye from staring at a screen too long. Roll the other way. Flutter, flutter, flutter. Try to keep the lids closed. And then open. And there you go. That's for the eyes. Now, you can combine eyes and neck a little bit if you want. And I'll show you one more head, neck, eye exercise. And then I'm going to finish with a few standing exercises. Because even though this is a sit and fit and fix it workout, computer fix, I also want to remind you that just standing up once every 15 minutes or so will do a world of good. Even if it's just get up, go get a glass of water, get up, go answer the phone, get up, go smell the roses. All right. So this next and last head, eye, shoulder, we're going to tuck the chin down. Then we're going to rotate and look up behind you to one direction, like you're trying to look behind your shoulder to the ceiling, and then go down again, and then do the same thing to the other direction. Look up towards the ceiling, stretch the eyes in the eye socket, nose comes down to sternum. So it's kind of like a little U shape, and just kind of flow with the eyes leading, the head following, the neck following. This sometimes can be good for people that have a little bit of vertigo. Sometimes this helps if it's caused by crystals in the inner ear. Some people do this in therapy, of course, much more effectively because you're usually laying down doing it. This is a nice little prehab, let's call it, a way to prevent maybe some of that happening. And as with anything, if it doesn't feel comfortable, causes you more dizziness, then discontinue and bring it back to the center. So there you go. Are you ready to stand? Let's get some water first and let me check in with you. Hey, thanks again, you guys, for giving a little star thumb up to me. We are trucking along. I told you we would be doing our workout for about 45 minutes. I think we've hit that, but I would like to share just a few more standing exercises and then chat with you about some of those great products that I wanted to share, my personal favorites. All right, so first standing exercise, actually start seated. So let me back up. I call this my elevator squat. You want to slide out forward a little bit. You want to position your heels so that your heels are behind your knees. So you've got a nice power position. Think of yourself like you're getting out of a cannon, or you're in a cannon, you're going to go right out. Hands are on the thighs. We're going to come up and down like we're going up an elevator. But again, make sure your chair isn't on wheels, please. As a matter of fact, I'm going to switch chairs real quick because I don't want to do something I don't want you to do. I'm going to pull out my continuing fitness action care resistance chair, which I was going to talk about later anyway. And it's very steady and stable, so I don't have to worry about it moving. So I'm going to put my hands on my thighs, or if I want to advance it, I'm going to put it up around my chest. I'm going to come up the elevator about one level. And then I'm going to slowly come down without plopping. That's so key. And then next time we're going to go up to level 2, or maybe floor 2. Keeping that nice long angle from head to hip, core braced and engaged, and in a slow descent, no plopping. Now we're going to go up to level 3. Abdominals engaged, long line, thighs working, and then sit back once again, soft landing. And then the last 4, we're going to come up slow, 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 all the way up to standing. Squeeze your glutes a little bit, and then trace it back down. Floor 3, floor 2, floor 1, soft landing. Let's try that one more time. All of you with me. Come on. I know you're sitting there. You need to do this. Here we go. So again, sway with me on Sway TV as we do our elevator squats from the chair. Here we are, up about one level, and then back down into the chair. Notice my core stays engaged, long diagonal, level 2, back to 1. So hit each floor as you do this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 2, 1, down. And last one, lean. 1, 2, 3, squeeze. Now let's stay up here. Let's come on around to the back of the chair. Another great feature with this resistance chair, which can be found on Amazon, is that it has the higher handrails, which makes it really nice for standing work. If you happen to have one of these, we're going to stand really tall, and we're just going to stand and hold behind the chair. Think about good posture. And again, do some ankle work. Remember I talked about that circulation and how important it was down in the feet, down in the extremities. So we're just going to do some calf raises, maybe some balance holds. Let go of the chair, hands back to the chair, and slowly sink. All right, the other thing we can do is one leg. So maybe if you're advanced, you want to take this to a one-legged calf raise, which is going to get much more tiring. Holding at the top, feel that pump. That muscle is pumping blood and oxygen up those legs, and that's so important to combat sitter's disease. And then, of course, let's do the other side. I'm assuming you're doing this with me, so here we go. If we do one leg, we want to do the other, up and down, contracting those calves, driving that body up, keeping that core engaged, hold and balance. Nice deep breath. If you want to let go, that's hard to do. And then slowly come down. And then we can lift the toes to stretch. Somebody asked earlier about stretching the lower leg muscles, in particular those that are attached to the Achilles tendon, the calves. You just lift the toes up and walk on your heels a little bit. And that'll stretch your calf muscle as well as strengthen the shin muscles. You can walk narrow and you can walk wide. You can go into, out to, try to keep going for 30 seconds. The longer you can go, the more strength you're going to get out of this. You'll notice that my hips will be back a little behind me. That's why having the chair in front of me is great for balance so that I don't pitch myself too far forward. And then we bring it into the center, and we did the ball squeeze when we were seated in the chair. So if I were going to complement that in some way, I would do a leg lift to the side, trying to lift that leg without letting the toe turn to the side or without letting the standing hip bulge or collapse to the side. So in doing so, you're getting some great strengthening in both hips or buttocks muscles, the gluteus medius. Up and out, chest and chin lifted and parallel. No rush on this. Doesn't have to go high either. You almost want to imagine you're pushing a paint can away from you on the floor. 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, Last one, and we're going to do the other side. So same thing here. We're just going to lift and press. And as we're doing this, again, you want to concentrate on not allowing this leg to collapse or the rib cage to shift too much. It's not about height. It's about creating tension and tightness through those side, pelvic, and hip muscles. 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, and last one. And then relax, just ease it out a little bit. Good job. One more exercise from the standing behind the chair position. And then we're done with today's computer fit, sit, fit, fix, whatever you want to call it, with the ab lab. All right, so standing with the feet and shoulders in good alignment, plumb line. I want you to slide 1 foot back and just teeter-totter your body forward. Bring the arm up, the same arm as the leg that you have back. And then I just want you to reach and touch with a nice slow tilt and a long lengthening feeling through that spine, tightening in the hip. You're hitting a lot of muscles here. You're stretching, you're strengthening. Your whole body is engaging from the hip and hamstring all the way up through the shoulder girdle, and of course, the core. All right, and then we're going to bring it in. We're going to do the other side. Same thing, slide 1 back, find the long angle, teeter-totter forward, and then gently tilt and release. Inhale and exhale. Work hard to keep your abdominals held in, your neck in line. Think of pulling out, almost like somebody was grabbing you by the wrist and foot and tractioning and stretching you as you lean forward in that arm leg reach pattern. Here we go. Let's do 4 more. And 3. Nice deep breaths. Good stable chair. 2. And then last one. Oh, I don't know about you, but that felt good to me. And shake it all out. Every once in a while, it's okay just to shake, 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 and get rid of tension, because we do know that muscles need a break. Sometimes it's just a little circulation. Sometimes it's just a little stretch. Sometimes it's just a little shake. All right, guys, thanks. Let me check my comment box real quick. And let's move on to looking at some of the products that I have for you that I highly recommend on this Sway TV CompuFit or Computer Fit Day, thanks to the Ab Lab and of course Amazon. Let's get a little water. All right, so just checking the box here. Hey, does anybody out there have any questions, first of all, about anything we discussed? The ergonomics of proper desk setup, or the sitter's disease, or any of the exercises that we were doing. I love sharing, some a little bit more behind the scenes ideas. If you guys want to talk about any exercise in particular, I would love to discuss that. So please do feel free to ask me any questions as we're here. And then I'm going to take you over to something real quick. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see, let's back this up. Let's see if this works. Here we go. So I don't know if you're seeing this or not, but I am sharing my recommended products. There we go. Thank you very much, production team. So these are some of the things that are under the Ab Lab category in the shopping list. And I picked out some ones that I thought in particular had to do with what we talked about today. We started talking a lot about, and I'm going to click on one right now. We started talking about having a good chair and the ergonomics of a chair. Now, this isn't the chair I'm sitting on now, but if I were to purchase a chair specifically, this one has all the points that I would be looking for. I would want to have arms that could be folded up or down, that could have my arm at that proper rest position to keep tension out of my neck and traps or upper back muscles. I would want a little head support because, as I said before, I had all that neck problem. And if I would have had something to remind me to keep my head back, even if it's just gently touching it, the sensation of my head against it, it would have made a big difference. I would want to have a lumbar curve, which you can see here. And again, the ability to heighten the chair or bring it down so that I am in proper alignment with my computer screen, my mouse, my keyboard, so that those arms could stay at that proper 90-degree angle. So this is one I happened to find. It had a lot of good reviews. I know that some of these more ergonomic chairs, they can be a little more expensive, but when it comes to back health and neck health, believe me, once it starts bothering you, you'll spend anything to avoid the pain. So start off with a good chair. Now, moving on to the neck. Oh my goodness, believe it or not, I have had all these products at home, and I'm going to show you some of my faves. All right, so this one here, it looks silly. I know, I have it right here in front of me, but you know, sometimes you just need traction, and you kind of just feel like, oh my gosh, if someone could just pull on my neck and I could sit here for a little while, but how do I buy one that's the perfect height to stretch my neck a little bit and take some of that tension off my neck? Well, this one right here that you're seeing, the cervical neck traction device, I purchased when I was having a lot of problems. And bottom line, you just pump it up. And so it doesn't matter, you know, who you are, the longer the neck, the more you pump, and you just keep pumping until it gets to a point where it fills up. And oh my gosh, it starts to feel so not only comfortable, but it just feels like somebody is relieving tension, especially the back of my neck. So as you can see, again, it is kind of a funny look, but I did crack up a few people when they would come to my house and see me wearing it. They'd be, what the heck are you doing? But I say, look, don't knock it until you've tried it. So I've got mine right now to a level that it is just not just supporting my neck so that I don't slouch, or it's like stretching it. It feels so good. Anyway, for, you know, not very much, under $20, plus it has an extra 5%. It, you know, you'll get a couple laughs, but you'll actually get some neck relief out of this. So that is one of my favorite neck problem solution products. I also have purchased this so I could rest, and I don't have it with me here today because I gave it to one of my daughter's roommates that was having a lot of neck issues, because it was easy to just hand to her. It didn't take up much room. And so this was another one I recommended. I have this one here, which, as you can see, I was serious about really taking care of my neck because I did not want to have any surgery or anything else. So I also purchased this Soothe cervical traction cushion. And so this was really what I liked about this was we all need to take more downtime in our day. And I just want to share this with you because these things were lifesavers to me. I mean, I'm a fitness trainer. I can't afford to go around with my back or my neck giving me trouble, but I spend a lot of time on the computer too. So sitter's disease hits even the fit, and we have to just fix it. That's why I called it my fit and fix workout. So on this, during my cool down, oh my gosh, again, like, Sunday, whatever, but just the angle and the cushiness of this cushion, you just lay here for about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, meditate, play some good music, have your aromatherapy going on, and I don't care who you are, everything's going to feel a little bit better. So again, that's a little share of mine today. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, wait a second. Now this one's in the carousel. And goodness, let me see if I can bring it up. I don't know if I have it to bring up, but If not, just know it's in the carousel. There's 2 of these that are in the carousel that have these rotating little things, balls. I don't know what else. They're like heated and massage. I got this for Mother's Day one year, and it's almost Mother's Day, gang. And you can put it, the reason I like this one, it can strap onto your chair, number 1, or you just hold the straps. Oh my gosh, this feels so good. I wish you guys had one right now, because I'm telling you, this is really great. And so this one, which is, you can see the size, is great because you can put it anywhere on your back. You can lie down on it. You can put it underneath your calf muscle, your hamstring muscle. It's not limited to just the neck and shoulders, but in the carousel, there's another one that kind of, it almost looks like a scarf that goes over. I don't have that one, but that one would feel really cool if I just put it on and sat here and I wouldn't have to hold it. So that one would be nice too. But in any case, love this product. It's warm. It's that shizitsu, I don't want to say it wrong, kind of action. And Mother's Day is coming. So's Father's Day. Highly recommend for stress muscles. Okay. So what else? Moving away from the neck, foam rollers. I think I have one in my shop again. These are simple devices that you can use to ease out tension anywhere, hamstrings, calves, back. And again, you'll find these type of devices on Amazon. There's a lot of them. Let me see which one I put in my shop. Right there. There you go. So OPTP, which is the same manufacturer as my stretch strap. Great company. So move this chair out of the way and I'll show you a little bit. Probably in terms of, and again, I'm going to focus on some of the recuperative things for sitter's disease. All right. So if I were again in my cool down, maybe prior to having my meditation on my cervical pillow, I would start off by sitting down, placing this behind me, and then coming up in a bridge and gently just rolling up and down my spine, finding my tender spots or the places that just need that little extra bit of pressure all the way down. Try to stay away too much from the actual lumbar curve because you don't want to exaggerate that. And you just hold it for a few seconds in one position, go all the way up. Again, you want to stay away from the cervical spine, but more that mid or thoracic area where that's where most of us feel that tension anyway. And then once you're done with your back, you can work on your glutes, come up a little higher, stay on one side, roll up and down on those gluteal muscles. You know, they're not that tight, but sometimes it still feels good. And then all the way down into those tight hamstrings. Again, just rolling and holding on tender spots, calf muscles. So it's a great tool to address self-massage and a little myofascial release. That's the connective tissue that also needs to be stimulated. And so it adds a nice stimulation to those tissues to get the blood flow going and get some of the toxins out. So these foam rollers are great for those purposes. Let's see. Okay, I don't want to run out of time before I get to some of the other stuff. Oh, the percussive guns. Yes, there's one in the carousel. There's also this one. I don't care what brand it is. They are all fantastic. And you can just sit here and take away a lot of tension, multi-speeds, so many cool things, different heads. Everybody needs to have one of these somewhere and to have it by your desk. All right, enough of the massage, we say. What about the glare? I want to get to the glare because that's a biggie. So I'm going to come on down and find some of my anti-glare things. Okay, so I bought, I had the Mac computer and I had the old 19-inch screen. And I bought this, which is kind of this plastic, it's a hard plastic, and it just sits right on top. It doesn't have to be attached. It's very lightweight, and it cuts down on the different light, the blue light and the glare, and it helps filter that to keep, because a lot of stress to the eyes is these bright, glary screens that we stare at too long. I don't have mine because I just bought a brand new Apple desktop, the bigger screen. And so I gave this one to my daughter. So she inherited this, and I haven't bought the new anti-glare yet, but I will be ordering it because I have to now get the 27-inch size. But that was really neat. And since I don't have one yet, instead, because I take my anti-glare seriously, I purchased these online because these eye keepers, they are great because you can buy them with or without prescription, and they have the blue light blocking orange tint, which I really like. It's almost like, it feels like soothing to my eyeballs. The color really does. And of course, if you don't want the yellow tint, you can get tintless. But this is cool because then it works with all my devices, and whether it's iPad or iPhone. But dang, don't we spend a lot of time looking at screens? So this is the least that I think you can do to help your retinas and your eye health. And you can also get the guards that are like kind of like a little bit of a plasticky shield that goes on to your, it just goes directly on your iPhone. Many of you probably already have those. Okay, so that's my eye tips. And when all else fails and you've already gotten past the point of return, you can purchase these eye masks. I like the ones that allow you to do cold or hot therapy. And I do suffer with dry eye syndrome. I get red eyes a lot, and it feels grainy. And at some point, there's nothing more you can do but just close those eyes and put a little moist heat, which feels so good and really does help with all the eye problems. All right, so we are getting close to me having to let you go today. I have so enjoyed sharing with you all my tips. I'm going to go ahead and get out of my screen. So no more share. And come on back to me. Come on back. Come on back. Let's see if anybody else has asked anything. A little bit late and wondering if you can change the seat to a larger seat. I'm not sure which seat we're talking about, but Pickering family, feel free to ask me again. Specifically, what seat are you discussing with that question? But if not, I just want to review for you guys real quick all the good stuff if you tuned in later. Today, I was so happy to be a part of Sway TV. I am Kathy Stevens. I'm an Ab Lab trainer, one of the program developers. And today our focus was learning and burning how to work out from your chair to prevent sitter's disease. All right, we did a lot of exercises. We also did a little screen in the beginning to see if maybe you're suffering from some common symptoms of sitter's disease. And I'm going to bet that at least one of those 5 things hits all of us, you know, whether it is posture that's failing, whether it's back pain, whether it's sluggishness and tiredness and fatigue. These are all signs that we're sitting too long. And sometimes it's just we have to for work or for other reasons, or maybe we want to. We're gaming, we're shopping. And so the best thing I can recommend is just every 10 minutes or so, plug in one of the exercises we did today, whether it was strengthening with the stretching strap or the toning ball that I used. Just bend it over real quick to show you again. Really, OPTP designs a lot of cool devices that you can use. They're not costly and you can use them right from your chair. Or whether it is just relaxing and maybe having some aromatherapy. Like I love my little pineapple I bought on Amazon that I could put a few essential oils in and have a really cool mist coming out the top that helps put a little more moisture in the air and helps prevent some of those problems that we have when the air gets too stagnant from being indoors or sitting at a desk too long. So all of these things are tips I hope you'll take to heart and utilize and share with your friends and share this whole platform with them, because Sway TV is here for you. We're here to show you ways to sway into a better lifestyle, whether it's hosts that are talking about child rearing or exercising when you're over 50 or shopping or hair design. There's so many things, so many great tips that you can see on this channel. I'm Kathy Stevens. I'm part of the Ab Lab, which is the networking for fitness enthusiasts and professionals that just want to know more, do more, and connect more on a platform that can help bring it all together for healthy core living. Don't forget to visit their website, theablab.com. Very easy to remember. And come back and join me. I'll be doing more workouts and more training tips for you here, and maybe even some more giveaways. We gave away 3 60-up chairs last week. So stick around and please do come back and let's all sway a little bit more.
Make sure you guys follow Sway TV. Follow Sway right here. Ooh, it's this way, sorry. Corey says, thank you, Sway TV. Shakira says, thank you, Sway. Yes, guys, it is so much fun. We love Sway TV.
We're here all the time streaming live. We're sharing great products. We're doing great interviews and amazing giveaways.
Amazon, we love you,
Yes.
Amazon.
So grateful for you guys and for Sway TV.
I've had such a great time with all of you.
Shop attainment all the time.
It is a girl's dream come true for someone like me to be able to give you dating advice and shopping all in one platform.
Amazon Live, woo! Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway.
Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway. Let's sway.